Rosie, when I was a young lad, I did my time travelling through India on the Enfield motorbike, and one of the places I liked the most was Goa, because it was on the coastline there and the seafood restaurants are beautiful. And that's what I'm going to cook for you today, Rosie. I'm going to cook a kingfish curry, really fast, really delicious, and really, really flavoursome. Now, to start with, I'm going to get you to get these green mangoes and give them a peel.
Okay.
While you're doing that, I'm going to get some of these spices. This is fenugrec. I'll put about a teaspoon of that in there.
Yeah, very good for suppressing appetite as well, that one, because the cholesterol, like that.
Suppressing appetite and cholesterol. There you go. Got it all covered in one, haven't I? And I've also got some cumin and some coriander seeds and some black peppercorns. And what I'm going to do, Rosie, is just mortar and pestle them together like this till they become ground down. You could, if you wanted to, toast them and they come up really nicely. Now, this part here, you could grind it down to it's a really fine paste. I like to leave it a little bit coarse. I find that you get a really nice flavour out of it by leaving it nice and coarse. So
you're already getting that smell is releasing, as well as this. That's the thing about Indian food, is it just the smells that get released are unbelievable.
Yeah, I've got a couple of cloves of garlic. I'm just going to smash them like this. And you can see my pan is really, really hot. So what I'm going to try and do is get all of my things together at once. So I'm not going straight into a hot pan and burning everything. Now, my red onion, I'm just going to slice it on an angle like this. You could use any type of onion, a spring onion, a white onion, a brown onion. They all taste good, but slice it nice and thin like this and it'll hold up beautifully. Now, ginger we normally put on a microplane to make it nice and fine, but what I'm going to do with this is slice it nice and thin, sort of like a julienne, so you get those flavours all the way through the curry. It's going to be delicious.
That is going to be delicious. Well, it smells delicious.
It smells good, doesn't it? Now, my pan's nice and hot. I'll turn it down a little bit. I'm going to pop the olive oil straight into the pan like this, stir it around like this so I get plenty of oil in there, because you want the oil and the spices to come together beautifully. In goes my garlic and my ginger. There we go. In it goes like that. It's starting to sizzle away already, so I'll get straight onto it with a wooden spoon and turn that around. Now, while it's in there like that, I'm going to come across here and rip off one of these bay leaves. Look at that. Little bay leaf like that. Fresh bay leaf in the kitchen.
I didn't know that was real over
there. Everything's nice and real. Now, in go my spices straight away like that. Now, I've got some chilli powder. Now, I want to be careful of the chilli powder. I don't want to add too much of it. So I'm just going to put about a teaspoon in. Oh, you've peeled them already. Now,
I'm getting there. I'm almost there.
What I want you to do, once you peel them, is just cut them up into a rough dice, because they'll cook inside and give it a lovely flavour. Now, I've got these chillies here. And these chillies I've soaked in cold water. It helps to round them off a little bit, and they're a lot easier to use. So in they go as well. You could just use a sprinkle of dried chilli if you want. It's up to you. Now, I've also got some of this turmeric, which I know turmeric's good for you, and you can tell us all about that.
Fantastic. It is one abundant superfood, okay? This one especially, it's got a bit of black pepper, a little bit of coconut oil as well. So those fats in that black pepper actually help you absorb the turmeric even better. So you can really become, it's a very anti-inflammatory. So if you're in a bit of pain, you've got some sore joints, absolutely fantastic, this stuff. I love it.
Well, I'm not in pain and I certainly don't have any sore joints, so it must be working for me. I'll pop a little bit more olive oil in there because the spices have soaked up a lot of that oil, and I'll just stir it around. Now, I've turned it down a little bit. You can see the pan's under a lot more control. Now, what I'm going to do is add some of this curry powder. All the spices are in there, but this curry powder gives it a nice flavour. I'm also going to add some brown sugar. In it goes. Be careful once you add the brown sugar, because it will want to caramelise. But have a smell of that. Isn't that fantastic?
It smells absolutely divine.
All you do is sweat that around for just a minute or so like that. Now, something that really gives a curry a really nice flavour is tamarind. And it gives it a really sort of tart sort of flavour, slightly sour.
It comes in a little pod, doesn't it?
It does, it does. And you normally buy the tamarind in a block. And what you do is soak it in water, and you've got to work your fingers through it, pull out all the seeds. You don't want to get any seeds in there, trust me. This is a great product because they do all the work for you.
Gorgeous.
And all you do is spoon it out like this, straight in. And I love that sour sort of flavour it gives a curry. Now, to add to that, I've also got some vinegar, just a touch of vinegar for an extra bit of flavour. There we go, pop that in there. Vegetable stock goes straight in there like that, because we're going to give it some lovely liquid. There we go, in it goes. Now, to give it some body, Rosie, what I've got here is some coconut. And this is fresh coconut that's been scraped out of the inside of the coconut.
Moist, delicious, the real flesh.
So what I'm going to do is pop that straight into here. The coconut is... The coconut's fantastic. There's a lot of that in Goa, and they use it in just about everything. In goes that juice from the bottom.
Oh, how lovely.
Over the top we go there like that. And I'm also going to add in some coconut milk, just a nice amount of coconut milk. In it goes. Try not to splash yourself like I've just done. Hand that over to you. Now, what I need to do is stir that around here for a couple of minutes. Now, while that's cooking, Rosie, what I'm going to do is get my kingfish. It's a beautiful, slightly oily fish. And what I've got is my fishmonger to scale it. you want to make sure you take the scale off the outside of them. They're small scales. They're getting between your teeth. They're horrible to eat. Make sure it's scaled. What I'm going to do with these, Rosie, is just with my knife, just give the skin a little bit of a score on the outside. There we go, just through there like that, and then through the outside like that. And what it does, it gives it a little sort of groove when you're cooking it. And one of the most important things when you are cooking fish is to put some salt in there. This is that lovely Murray River salt, lovely flakes. It gives it a really nice texture, and I love the flavour of this flaky salt. Normally I'd use this salt to finish things off, but when you're cooking lovely fish like this, there's nothing better. Now what I'm going to do is, with my pan over here, swap these two over. I want the curry to simmer away a little bit, but I want a little bit higher heat so I can cook the kingfish. So this is up nice and high here like this. In goes the olive oil. I'm using a really good non-stick pan, so there's no way this fish skin will stick to the pan. But a little trick if you are cooking the kingfish is to make sure the skin's dry. Pop it on a piece of paper towel. So when you put the skin side down, it will start to sizzle away, but it won't stick at all. In these go. They'll take a couple of minutes. It won't take too long to get a lovely look on the outside of it. I've got my little pepper mill, and I'll make sure I've got some pepper on the outside like that. Now all we have to do, Rosie, is fix up that mango, get it into here, let these cook for a few minutes, and we'll be able to bring it all together. Look at that.
It is smelling and looking divine. I love that the turmeric, the yellow that it's brought, you just know it's full of goodness. And I love that, you know, you're using the fish in the curry. I think fish in curry is just divine, isn't it? It's that kind of that little bit of fishy flavour does go in with the spices. A beautiful source of protein.
I mean, you could do this with chicken if you want. You could even probably do it with tofu, or you could use it with paneer, which is the Indian cheese as well. Here you go, Rosie. I want you to taste this without the fish in it, and tell me what you think. I'm going to grab my big wooden spoon.
VIP, I get to try first, don't I?
Yeah, it's always good. That's the best thing about cooking. When you are making great stuff, you're the first one to taste it.
Wow, that's beautiful. It's got a little bit of sourness to it as well, but then that iconic Indian flavour. Oh, look how crispy that is. Oh, wow, Adrian, that is delicious.
So what I want to do, Rosie, is just pop these in here. And I want the skin to keep that colour and that look to it. So I just turn it over.
Very good looking dish, isn't it?
Oh, thank you very much.
Very good looking dish.
Now what I'm going to do is turn this down and let it simmer away. You could, if you wanted to, pop the lid on it. I've got the lid there. But what I'm going to do is let that simmer away really gently. It'll take about 8 to 10 minutes, really slowly, to cook all the way through. You don't want to overcook kingfish. You know, if it's overcooked, it becomes dry. You just want to get it just right and serve it straight away. So we'll let this simmer away. It looks fantastic like that. And we'll have a tuck in very soon. Rosie, that smells gorgeous, doesn't it?
It's divine. It's absolutely divine. And the colour.
It's pretty good,
I mean, you should eat with your eyes and your nose, you know, not just your mouth, don't you? And you've really done that with this one.
So what I'll do is with a spoon, I'll just take out some of the goodness in the bottom, and then I'll lift out very carefully that piece of kingfish and just pop him just over the top there. So you see you've got a lovely piece of kingfish there, all the bits and pieces around it, and all I need to do is garnish it up to make it look nice and pretty, just on the side like that.
That is beautiful. You had a dinner party. Like, that is really stunning restaurant style. That's beautiful.
And I think it's going to have that tartness to it that the tamarind and the mango puts in there. So I'm just going to go into the fish, and that crispy skin is just fantastic.
Oh, that is crispy. I can hear it.
And you can see the fish is cooked all the way through.
It is.
But it's still moist and delicious. And the idea with fish is to just cook it the right amount. It's almost like cooking egg white. It's just got to be just cooked and it's perfect.
That's true. I just want to see how it's cooked down, if it's got a bit richer.
And we didn't cook it for very long. It was just a few minutes. All the flavours have come together. You could cook it for an hour if you want to, but I think we've got all the flavours in there just at once. Beautiful.
I would do that with tofu. I think it's divine.
Your vegetable curry with the rice and my fish curry. I think we've got some great curry dishes.
Very good.